Welcome back to week 4 of the SpyParty Major League Season 2. We've got the Masters Division game for you on deck. It's Guggie versus LevT.
And obviously, this is going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, absolutely looking forward to this. LevT has been a bit of a monster for a long time now, and this season of the competition has been no exception. They are second on the leaderboard so far, despite the fact that Martini who is at the top of the leaderboard, has one more game than them. So LevT off to a pretty strong start, 2-1-0, where Guggie doing very well themselves, 2-0-0, a game behind LevT. So this is very much a powerhouse game right here.
And I would say, I don't imagine that there's a really clear favorite in this one. I would say that LevT has been on a little bit more form recently. Sometimes they have been kind of trapped in like top 8 of competitions, but they've started pushing a little bit further, which has been wonderful to see. The big difference so far in their games has been LevT's sniper has been floating at an 81% win rate, and their spy is just below 50% at 45, which is very respectable. And Guggie has been 64 apiece. They played one less match, and so it could be small numbers. But Guggie, the only player in the whole division with a winning spy rate.
Yeah, 64% spy rate, for those of you who aren't particularly well aware with this game, is nuts. That does not happen very often.
Yeah, not in high divisions where you have players that generally they got there by really getting their sniper play solid. So of course there are things like venue selection that comes into play here, but I would say just Guggie overall. I'm not surprised to see them playing pretty evenly across their sniper and spy, and that they're both doing pretty well.
So the dynamic we're going to be seeing here is LevT really trying to hold down the fort on the sniper side. They're going to be tested a lot by Guggie, but if they can manage to hold down the fort on that side of things, they should be able to come out with a lead. Whereas if Guggie can get through LevT's sniper with a reasonable amount of consistency, they've certainly got the win rate for it, then that can absolutely break the match wide open for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And also a really important win for them to pick up just either one of them, because this is one of the ones on the margin that like feels just very winnable. And one of them has to. Well, I guess I'd say one of them has to win. They can't tie, but going to be a big challenge for them. And yeah, very curious how it shakes out.
It's going to be a lot of fun no matter how it shakes out. But let's talk about the picks and bans a little bit, because this is a bit different than what most people are used to.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Aquarium and Tan. And I would say that looks about right. Well, not about right, but that's like not totally unfamiliar. Interesting restricts on Balcony. Like Balcony is one of the, I guess you can just like deny having a 4-pick on Balcony, but I'd say usually it's either banned or touched or like left alone. And they're restrict on Terrace, which I do like.
Yeah.
But then, like you're saying, the singles and the multiplies are very interesting.
So we got Guggie picking up Gallery, Ballroom, and Terrace, and then LevT picking up Modern, Veranda, and Courtyard.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how. So I think actually Lev's picks are more strange to me in their straightforwardness, like of the other venues. Like I would say all of them, except for I guess Ballroom. Although Ballroom, still very winnable for sniper and sits at like a 60%. But those are all ones that, generally speaking, at this level, are going to be relatively comfortable for sniper. They might not win them all, but they're not going to be super uncomfortable. And if you're on top of it, you're just kind of expected to win each game of sniper. And that is still sort of true for Guggie's picks, except for Terrace and Gallery, where Terrace is a bit strange. I would still say sniper favorite, but it's sniper favorite in a different way. You can force 50-50s more easily. And then gallery. It just kind of depends on how the party shakes out because you can get away with so much in the back, and very much not surprised to see a single and a multiply from gallery for Guggie.
Yeah, gallery is a venue that can either destroy you as a spy and not really give you any chances, or hand you the house on a silver platter. It just sort of depends on how the party shakes out. But Guggie multiplying gallery is going to be very interesting indeed. Whereas Ballroom from LevT is just sort of a solid, down the middle statement that LevT thinks he can just play this better.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is interesting that Guggie has started to not favor redwoods as much. You would have expected in previous seasons or previous competitions for Guggie to go after redwoods, but we do not see it here, even though we see bans on the other two obstruction venues.
So, with that said, it's time to get this show on the road. Let's get this thing started. It's going to be Guggie on the Spy first versus LevT's Sniper on Gallery. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And we're going to start near Ambassador. We do go for a what I'm going to assume is a harmless fish for a bug there. There was enough cover that the arm was going to be seen, but really not much of a chance of actually getting the bug there. There's just too much. There are too many other AIs for the Ambassador to find a path through them.
Yeah. Got bounced off. Doesn't wind up happening at all. But 51% on the flirt does wind up happening as we step into conversation. Second target steps away immediately after, and we take a drink and follow suit. So, despite not hitting the bug, as you say, it was pretty harmless and a pretty quick start from Guggie.
Yeah, and we're going to go for this second flirt almost certainly. We're not going to get close enough to actually finish.
Yep.
Yeah, it is
as
green.
you say, not quite close enough to finish, but at 94%, literally any flirt, as long as it's not red, will finish this up. Doesn't matter how far away you are.
Right, and the thinking there is if you can avoid getting paired, it's more important. So I don't think that's necessarily a mistake from Guggie. At least I think that they intended to be far enough away that they were going to get paired. By the way, selection target going to so many pads. I don't think we can get away with another pad flirt. So I think we're just going to step into statues here, it looks like.
That's exactly what the plan is. This is going to be our first pair of inspects. And this is the most suspicious statue to be at if you're late in the game and trying to do an inspect swap. But actually only takes the one inspect.
Yeah, and they are going to go statue to statue. This is interesting. So one of the things that happens here is that it's going to be fingerprintable. So we're going to go statue to statue, but it's on it's on the same set. So theoretically, it's less suspicious. And so I think what we were really trying to do there was cause us not to get seen for the fingerprint. We have a nice little redirect here. So I think we're investing a lot of time into getting these inspects and that fingerprint with hopefully being kind of odd to the sniper to not really be looking for the typical way in which spies would approach both of those missions. But I do think that Lev notices. And we're going to, again, be throwing something where we have this interesting redirect. We do actually get the neutral light off of it. So we fish long enough that I think we actually hit it. I want to bring credit for this bug, though.
The double one cycle at the statues was a little bit suspicious looking, as well as pairing it with the fingerprint, but that really nice redirect, it looks like, was able to shed some of that suspicion. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes moving forward, but we've used a lot of time, minute and 15 left to play, and no completions as of yet, even though we have a lot of progress.
And something that's kind of fun about it is in theory, usually the trade-off for being like kind of like actively AI-like is you're not getting mission completions, but we just did mission completions in a weird way. We went statue to statue on the same set of statues into the second statue being fingerprint, and then lots of redirects as we're moving around, which don't really cause us that much heartache as far as time commitment. So it's interesting because we both have mission progress and we have seemingly thrown suspicion off from Lev so far. Really, really enjoy this spy play.
Only 35 seconds left to play. This almost has to be a book slam. Not able to hit the print off of a difficult fingerprint either, so that might be very bad going forward as we enter the beep beep territory.
Yeah, we're gonna request a drink and try
Oh,
to
it's
do
a
a Purloin
Perwin on the
here.
way out. Really needed a green test there. Not able to get it. Gets caught. LevT takes the shot. Wins game number one.
Yeah, I would say that obviously we were hoping for the fingerprint there. Even if we got that fingerprint, I'm just looking at our options in there. So we were never going to get the second inspect. I think we were just hoping for something like contact. But honestly, like after Double Agent left that first conversation circle, I don't know if they ever went back into a conversation circle. I'm kind of just scanning, looking. Oh, they did. They did very briefly go into the front conversation circle. So we were gonna have a hard time finishing, kind of regardless there. But obviously, kind of disastrous not to hit the difficult fingerprint. But not a bad gameplay at all.
Indeed. Let's see what LevT is able to do from the spy side after picking it up as the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think we're just going to join for books here for a flirt. Yeah, indeed. I don't think we're actually going to try to do something with this book at all, though. I think we're just going to. Well, I guess we can wait.
Well, yeah, we're stepping away with it. That's certainly something. We'll see if anything comes of it later on or if it just goes safely back. But 51% on the flirt is a good start either way.
Yeah, we can keep this book for a while. I was curious if when we took this away, we're going to be seeing if Seduction Target also took a book out, because then we could possibly flirt again at books, which is something we're going to take a really quick visit to the windows. I don't know if Guggie cares about that so much, but that was very fast, but doesn't seem to be any worse for wear.
And it looks like it's going back into blue. Do we do any animation transfer shenaniganry before it without any cover? Doesn't look like LevT's going for any of that, so this should just go back cleanly and safely.
Yeah, and honestly, while this is going on, I think we're looking for opportunities to sit next to our selection target. So I think that it was time spent, not necessarily on actually opting up into a microfilm. It was hoping that like Queen or Papa Danger was going to leave General's side, and General's going to go back to blue case. It looks like that's a little bit unfortunate for us as far as trying to pair up in there, because I don't think this is a little dicey. It looks like we are going to rejoin there, but this is going to be the two. It's gonna be two people at the same bookcase. We hit a white test as well, so we might get super paired. Like it honestly could be a pairing for General as well onto us. But depending on how Guggie plays this, and it looks like we get a highlight, this might not be working out so well for Lev.
Yeah, that took a lot of time away as well. We're at 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play, and we only have those two flirts as progress. Mind you, the ambassador drops in to say hi. The bug comes off, but it's not clean enough. Guggie is on top of it, and that lets us tie at 1 coming out of the first pair of games.
Yeah, and very different spy games from the two of them so far. Again, I think that was gonna be a tough one for Lev if the pair happened, and it seems like it did because we were able to identify that bug very quickly.
2 more games of gallery to play. Guggie back on the spy side of things versus LevT's sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
We're gonna redirect and then just stop immediately where we are. So that's a way to like kind of like get a position on the map. I actually quite like that because then like if you were on pad at the beginning of gallery and you just stop, one, it's very unlikely for anyone to identify the fact that you might have bounced very slightly, and then you get to see everything. You just get to watch. You can maybe fish for a bug. You can see where your seduction target ends up. You're not forced into something where like you start pathing and then you realize, well, now I'm pathing towards bookcase and the only space I can go is bookcase, and I'm stuck at bookcase in the beginning and I don't want to be. So very small move right there, but I like it quite a bit.
51% off the flirt off the top of the game from Guggie. And then the conversation kind of explodes. Not even able to get a good contact out of it, so just steps away. Gonna see if we can chase down the seduction target in the front conversation here and maybe get this finished up in 2, but we don't have enough room, so we're not gonna get it finished up in 2. We're gonna get it finished up in 3. Does hit the green, but again, not close enough to make it happen.
It seems like so far Guggie's not super concerned with getting a two flirt as much as Guggie really wants there to be enough progress to finish with one more flirt as just the options test. We are going to add time, and it seems to be a good maneuver. We were able to get away with the green test. I don't think we're going to get caught. There's so much zoom coming from Lev right now that right now the people that are going to be identified up front are going to be Seek and Irish. So if there is an identification of this time ad later, we might not be in the mix at all.
Yeah, I really, really like that time ad. Sari is such a slow walking character, and going out to the front and then back to the back like this takes up so much time with a character like Sari that you really do want that refund on the clock.
Yeah, and so since we have this all this progress, we could start a very cross conversation circle from our seduction target to get this done, and we do. And then we're also in a possible bug position when Ambassador comes out of this. Well, let's see if we actually fish for this. We don't have much cover on the right hand side though. Ambassador doesn't come near us, so it's just theoretical at this point. Anyways, whether or not it would have worked, but this is interesting. We are gonna be at the bookcase with our seduction target.
Oh,
Wait,
what
what
has
is going
happened?
on? Yeah.
This must have been a phantom something or other, because that was a huge number of lowlights all at once.
Yeah, and
Maybe
so
it's the time ad. I think this was the time ad just got seen now. Someone's getting just got credit for a green time ad, and it was far too late.
you're absolutely correct. That is 100% what has happened here. The time I was identified late, we low light everybody far away from windows, so people not in motion and people that are kind of in the back area. So that's why we and our seduction are getting it. So that's unfortunate for Lev, but that can happen, of course, when you see the time ad. If you are pretty sure there wasn't a time ad first, and we are going to shoot text in it. So yeah, that time ad ended up working out excellently. Of course, we just liked it because it gives us extra time. Sorry, slow, and just seemed like it was more or less free. But well done by Guggie and Lev, looking a little shaky for that one, and might be having problems going forward.
Underappreciated thing. Green time ads can absolutely throw a spanner in the works if the sniper doesn't catch it onto it immediately, and that is exactly what happened here. LevT stepping back into the spy side of gallery. Let's see what they can do against Guggie's sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And so we're gonna go under AI control for a little bit. We're in a pretty good position here to follow up on pretty much anything that we would want. We probably don't want to hang out in this conversation too long. Although actually, Seduction Target might join us. They're kind of looking like they're angling, but then they stop a little bit short. So nothing here, and Ambassador is going to curl away. So all of the beginning chaos that we could take advantage of, unfortunately, is not going to pay off. The one thing that might get generated here is a fingerprint in a moment on Ambassador, but no, space is violated too much. So this is all going to be just burned time at the beginning.
No drink shenaniganry, no early game hardtails. This is just a nice slow start from LevT, waiting for things to settle and the party to reveal itself to him.
Yeah, I think we're going to hang out here because Ambassador is next up in the offer chain, and Blane Twin has a book.
Oh,
we're
that's
not
a
we're gonna
bug
go
on
for
the
this
way
bug.
through as Ambassador takes.
That's actually so that's surprising to me just because I mean we do seem to get away with it, so it works out really well. But we were going to have a natural fingerprint offer, and oftentimes spies really like to lean into that. Now then again, spies do like to lean into it, but we'd have to work really hard for it. So we don't opt into getting the natural offer. So was there a taken between here? Because now we might get this fingerprint late. I actually think this might not have got taken ever. No, it did. It did get taken. There's no fingerprints on this at all. So just two takes happened.
Nope. It's the thing is, for some reason the UI just doesn't show fingerprintable drinks when you get them like that. So he did get the print off of this.
All right, well then that actually works out really well. It kind of gets best of both worlds. So this is starting to shape up pretty well for Lev. Now, of course, we still need to actually start doing our flirt. We're way behind on that, but honestly, we're kind of probably looking for flirt, looking for contact, and just seeing where Ambassador goes. I don't think we're going to bail out and go for this briefcase yet. I think we'll at least let one person touch it and probably go for something else because if Ambassador goes to statues, we might lean into inspects, which is exactly what they're doing, and it looks like Lev is kind of looking in that direction. So I think we might be going for something like picking up that in the fingerprint of the statues. The question is whether or not they want to go for like a silent game and get inspects,
I don't think you
No,
can go for
Purloin.
a silent. I don't think you can go for a silent game at this point. We just don't have the flirt progress. But here's a green purloin into an immediate drink take. This could
Yeah,
be huge.
yeah, it's really, and this is going to work best if there. Oh, and it's going to delay out because white dress goes into blue bookcase. So there's not even going to be a potential for reject. Tex walks away immediately as it happens. So there's going to be quite a bit of time, regardless of whether or not there are any rejects.
This is
And
so good for
salmon,
Lev.
salmon rejects too. They walk away. There's so many walkaways on this. I think this is going to work out super well for Lev.
I think so too. There's the contact as the list gets taken. The shot comes off on the reject chain, but LevT, with the shenanigans, took themselves off of the reject chain. A beautiful little play from LevT nets them a spy win to draw things level once more.
Yeah, indeed, and no pun intended on level right there, but like really excellent identification for a second on. So there was this thing where we contacted during the turnaround from red dress, which actually knocks them out if we don't identify as a green purloin. So we are guaranteed green purloin because the taker is turning around during the banana bread. So at first I was a little bit worried about that, but we didn't identify that pearls, or sorry, white dress was actually in the middle of a take animation when their offer happened. So it would have not been actually possible for Spy to have instituted that reject. So interesting position there, and Lev is able to get away with it by again kind of scattering it out there interestingly because it's possible that Guggie noticed that there would have been like difficulty in white dress getting that reject, but who else wouldn't have been if we didn't see the reject into the take? So really fun so far. I'm gushing a little bit too much. We probably get to the next game, but really enjoying the spy play.
Yeah, big plays coming off of both of them so far. As we step into the next venue, this is going to be Courtyard. As Guggie steps into the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And what's great to see is so these are both aggressive spy maps. Guggie, or the gallery and courtyard. So oftentimes we're gonna be kind of like looking at how the rotations are covered by each of the players. And if we're gonna go for a bug here, no, there is a rotation cover, so it's a good idea not to go for it. But if we had rotated around the other way and just given up on that side, there might have been the potential for a bug. Just thinking that they wouldn't go for something so bold. But so far, just kind of a normal courtyard start.
So far, these spies have indeed been so bold. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go moving forward, but Guggie, with that really early 51% on the flirt, might be able to just get it done in 2 right around now.
Yeah, and like we might as well stay in this conversation trying to finish it out, of course.
Does indeed get it in 2.
And we're going to go for, so right now what we have the option for is something crazy like a green swap, right? Is if you get 2 greens off the first one and you just do a 45-second wait. Sometimes what you could
It's
do
happening?
is do yeah, there it is.
Oh my
It is
god,
going to be
he's
green.
hit so many greens. It's been 5 green tests in a row.
Yeah, and so now we have to so obviously the thing we want to do is we want to contact as this is happening, either as the approach is happening to knock out. Oh, but double agent leaves, and they're not going to be going to that nearby conversation circle. So we're going to fake instead during the take because we really want to distract from this take here. But I think they're going to be watching it really closely. So here's the take. It's gonna change as we're doing it. I don't know if Lev actually identifies it. Their laser was directly over in the moment that it happened. We need to do this contact, the second contact, really quickly before the identification. The identification happens in here. So is Lev going to be able to react in time to notice and parse out all of the possibilities here?
Oh, he does get there in the end. I think if the double agent had stayed in conversation instead of bailing for the this is not pre-recorded by the way, instead of bailing for the contact and us having to take a fake, that would have been it. But because of the bail, because we had to take the fake and go for another contact, that's what swung the tides. It was a beautiful spy game. It was just that the double agent didn't quite cooperate.
Yeah, and even if double agent had gone into the, I mean, they couldn't have gone into the near conversation because at the time there was an SDA in that conversation. But we had to go so far that we really needed Lev to never see the statue, right? Because it was going to be, Guggie was still going to be putting on the pressure for a quick parse on whether or not we were in threat range of 4 missions. But LevT is able to parse out in time. We were so close to seeing the actual swap at first, but like again, like right as the banana bread goes off, the swap happens, and we actually move into low lighting mode and don't see the statue change in our hand. So really cool play there. Really, actually, we did need to do that fake. It almost worked out. If we didn't do the fake and we just went for that second contact, I think the result would have been an easier shot for Lev. So still like the play of faking and then going for the next one just to throw some
Completely
seed up in
agree.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great game so far, but LevT is up by 1, stepping into the spy side of Courtyard. Let's see what they're able to do with it in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And that's one of the main gambits. And so I often wonder how players react differently to venues with familiar opportunities. And that whether or not they react and think that that's kind of like taken off the table because it's kind of freshly in the mind of the sniper. But that was kind of like a form play where if you're able to hit a lot of greens, we're going to do a bail in the back here. We're going to show ourselves late. We could get in the no. We get reconsidered. We're just considered for a low light, but not quite. We are going to pick up this fingerprint though, and if we put down really quickly, now we are going to do an actual return.
Yeah. So early print, early contact. Haven't been to statues yet, but that is fairly normal. This has been a pretty quick start from LevT. Distant situation in the conversation, so they're not going to be able to get a great flirt out of this. They do hit the green, though, so they are in range of a 3 flirt if they get a close white on the next one, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now we're going to be watching very closely to see what Ambassador does. They're going to get bounced out by DA here in a moment. I don't. I think we are just mostly obviously interested in actually are they actually get bounced out? I think that was a normal leave. So we'll see where they leave their next fingerprint. They're going to drop a case at window. But here's the thing though. So it is cool to get that cross conversation circle and get that white to set us up for that 3 flirt. But now we've been staying in this conversation circle and we're still in the same one with our seduction target, in which we won't be able to stay for a close flirt. I think we're just going to fire it off and hope for a green, which we don't hit.
Yeah, I like the play. Not able to hit the green off of it. Still a minute and 25 to play, but starting to lose a bit of that time advantage. We might go for a silent game here if we can pick up this fingerprint at the statue when we go do that. So that could be very interesting.
Yeah, I completely agree. If we are able to identify a conversation without anybody, so silent game is really cool if you can do it in time. Where if there's lots of good opportunities, seduction target leaves right as we come into this. That's gonna be a bit unfortunate. Seduction target is gonna step into another CC. It's completely full. It has an SDA in it, so I don't think we're gonna really jump into it. So we are gonna go for the fingerprint statue right here, and we are gonna have to talk after it. So it's not gonna put the time crunch quite on yet.
White
Wait,
first inspect. Green second inspect. There's the print. This should come off in time. Indeed, it does.
Yeah, like you're saying, the one scary thing is if we hit 2 whites, and then are you going to chance a 3 cycle by staying in for the fingerprint? And we're going to do this last cross conversation flirt, and there was really no one else that could be done. So I'm very curious. So there's going to be a talk. Honestly, it looks like we're going to do a stop talk.
Not even on camera, really. The stop talk happens before Guggie even swings around, and LevT is able to make it happen from the spy side and go up 4-2, our first proper lead of the entire evening.
Yeah, and that was. It seems like there was enough statue visiting at the end that we were more concerned with swap than the potential for fingerprint, and also maybe anticipating a timeout to try to like just force some kind of crazy shot. So nothing really happening there for Guggie. So LevT, excellent choice, and is able to take that lead, like you're saying.
And that brings us to Ballroom, which I believe is LevT's doubled map. So they're just going to buckle down, starting from the sniper side, and try to grind out some games here. Let's see what Guggie's able to do with it from the spy shoes. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And like you're saying, so we're gonna have the small men because like if you're that might be an interesting opportunity just to pull out the emergency small men. Like if you're against a high level enough player and you just go down at all, it's just time. It's just time for small men. It could have just been designed that we were always expecting to go small men first on ballroom, but
Ooh.
regardless, ooh yeah, nice.
Oh, and that's a bug on the way through the back as well. A nice little wrong arm as we step away. So that's going to be some suspicion for the bug path, but no eyes on the bug itself.
Yeah, I'm curious. There may have been just the tiniest bit of a hand sticking in at the end there. I do think that this is mostly going to be looked at for the path in there, and also just like honestly, it's also a Guggie like bug. It's a buggy. It
And
just
also,
looks like
we're
the kind of thing they
Smallman.
liked. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So Guggie probably has quite a bit of suspicion at this point. In conversation with the double agent, so here comes the contact. It is a white test, but nothing particularly unfortunate happened in the meantime. So a pretty dang good contact, all things considered. 44 on the flirt, bug done. We need one mission besides.
Yeah, and like you're saying, like so spies kind of find themselves in the positions every once in a while. They don't really know that they're in this position. Oh, we are gonna miss out on that race there. But I actually don't know if we were actually hoping to get fingerprint. I don't know if it's the fingerprint game. Um, but if you get hit for the bug credit, you can still try to force an early timing where if they miss another aspect of your threat level, they can still like watch you carefully for that last little bit because they think you have enough time and you're not like rushing for something else. So we are seemingly setting up for something as well. We're not going to be able to get this flirt, so we're going to have to wait for them to readjust.
Yet Guggy is really like angling for it, you can tell. But big chase as soon as the second target steps away from conversation, but was not able to get in while they were there. Green test on the second flirt brings us up to 95%. Minute and 10 left to play.
Yeah, we seem to be really staring down. I think Guggy can feel the
Oh!
laser. Whoa! What? That completely felt out of left field. It seemed like we were staring at Smallman the entire game. I honestly thought the game was just over. Um, okay, so let's see. Let's go back and see what Red Dress does. So Red Dress picks up a statue early. I'm sure she has inspects done. Yeah, she does have inspects done. She goes
This was
statue like three
this was for
times.
fingerprint.
Yeah, so statues, fingerprint. Were they in? Like, were they in for contact? I mean, they must have.
I think there were.
Uh, let's see, contact happened. No, they actually weren't.
Oh
But like they
wow.
wouldn't be able to tell because at SDA looked like they might have been leaving from a conversation with Red that also did at the same time. So honestly, that all came down to just a slight misidentification on the contact time because otherwise, I get it. Like if there happens to be someone who visits statues, gets fingerprints, and is in conversation for contact, it's just unlikely for those things to line up for an AI just so well so early into the game. So I get it, but unfortunately, Lev just not quite seeing the timing on the contact, which cost him, and Guggy gets the game back.
Yep, sometimes that's all it takes. Spy Party really is a game of inches and a game of moments. And if you can get that to land on the right side of the line, then sometimes it can make all the difference. Let's see if LevT is able to maintain this lead from the spy side, or if Guggy can draw even in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, so Guggy probably getting a little bit of a breath of air there as well, just for just like feeling like we got maybe bailed out, or just like even if like not necessarily bailed out, like even if you think you had a good shot at the game, just getting kind of a free win just feels great because we weren't trying for a frame on Red Dress there at all. So uh, now Guggy being down probably feels like they just obviously have the wonderful opportunity to come back right now and are just really going to try not to throw that opportunity away.
Close green flirt from LevT to start the festivities gives us 51% on the flirt. Takes a drink as well, but an innocent one, so no purloin as of yet.
Seen a bunch of wheels today for such a unanimously. Well, I guess I shouldn't say actually unanimously disliked character. That's actually not true. They're fans and dislikes. I think one of the more disliked characters, but some do really rally around him in some cases.
I mean, you do definitely get some budget Smallman sort of situations with Wheels. He's definitely got the width to cause you some trouble, but the fact that he is as low down as he is can be a big boon as well.
Yeah, I actually quite like him on Modern, where it was one of the games that we saw him on before. Ballroom is sometimes a hard because like the bugging so often comes down to width on Ballroom, like you were saying about his width. So that's kind of tricky there. But I mean, you can also just avoid bug and try to do some statue shenanigans if there's enough cover on the back statues.
A slow middle game from LevT so far. Got a quick flirt and then hasn't really done anything since.
Yeah. So, and it's not also a case of there's a lot of stuff going on for the rest of the party. Ambassador staying pretty still. No one's really picking up in specs. So this is not actually shaping up to be too much. We could go for a Purloin here, and we do. We get the green. I know there was one reject, I think, before this. I don't know about the rest.
Green Purloin has just been taken. What's the reaction out of Guggie? There is actually a fake contact to try to distract a little bit after the fact.
Yeah, and we're kind of slow on our low lights here, and it might be a while before our rotations come up. Yeah, our rotation onto Purloin's going to be super late because we're still trying to read out the bug. So I actually don't know if we're going to see this until Sorry takes right here. I think we'll have a zoom in soon. Yeah, I still don't know if we've seen this at all.
That could be a really big help for LevT. If you miss a... Oh, that was just a bug attempt! Not quite in range, but it was real close to happening if the Ambassador had stepped just a tad bit farther. Contact comes off the back end of it as well, but with 25 seconds to play, this might get hairy.
Yeah, and what's interesting is we lingered on the decisions around Banana Bread about like
There's
what was
another bug attempt, but it doesn't take again. There's the flirt done, trying to chase down the Ambassador to finally get this bug in place. Needs the Ambassador to step away to try to get a reverse drive-by as the buzzer beater, but it looks like we're just going to have to crash bug it. There it is. Wrong arm, but that's just a bit too visible. The shot comes off, and LevT maintains... No, sorry. LevT goes down, and we're back even.
Indeed. Yeah, such a yeah, again, like there were opportunities again there for Wheels to get the bug, but like just again, like his bug is just kind of terrible and awful, and I will not let it just be unique and not worse. It is bad. But look at that underrated bug getting us killed.
The
But yeah,
big problem with bugging with Wheels is that you are used to looking at the width of the characters to determine how far you are away from someone, but that's not actually the measure of distance. And because Wheels is wide, it feels like his bug is much shorter range, so you can often get tripped up by that.
yeah, I agree. And like, cause like in theory, like you should be able to play to compensate that, but I do get tripped up by the width thing. It's like, and it like to be fair, that also happens where it's like I'll feel like I should have bugs on Taft because my arm goes into his body, and it feels like that means that I should have a bug on him.
Yeah.
But you know, you're just like you're saying, it's the circles are the only things that matter. And so sometimes there's some interesting cases where you have wide characters.
2 more games of Ballroom. Reminder, this is LevT's double, and it hasn't been working out for them so far. Let's see if they can get back into it from the sniper side against Guggie's Spy. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And also, we are joking. There actually are instances where his bug is totally fine. And honestly, he swung like 3 or 4 times on bug previously of that, and none of them got caught. So
Indeed.
there's some point there. And we actually are gonna. Speaking of Wheels, we're gonna join Wheels at middle statue, get the seduction off, and presumably just go for a ton of progress here. Sometimes Guggie changes it up and tries to go for something different and only get one inspect here. But I think we're going to go for all three, though, even though we're going to be just under 3 cycle.
Yeah, we do just get that done in the 2 cycle, so it was tight, but it got there. did get the highlight for it, but 49% on the flirt is in fact in range of the, well, not in range if you're standing there, but does hit the second green. It's 97%. That hurts a little bit, but I understand not wanting to get too snuggly with wheels.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit, and it really seemed like there was nothing else happening when Lev was over on the side. I think we might be paired, which is going to be really unfortunate for us. Wheels is going to be in a great position for this. If Wheels stays here, we're going to be cross conversation where Wheels joins us. We're going to have a natural talk after this, and we could finish up this flirt in a very natural looking way. We actually do jump the gun very slightly, very, very slightly. I don't think Lev's going to notice.
So flirt done, inspect done, green book in hand, though I don't really expect anything to come of that. 2 minutes left to play as well.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, we're in a familiar kind of ballroom position. We're not going to do anything with this book. We're going to put it back very naturally, and then Ambassador is in this back corner where Ambassador sometimes when they get there, they tend to stay there. And not only that, there's not lots of bug paths, a lot of good for them. So Ambassador is in a terrible position for ballroom, not leaving fingerprints in a very easy to guard position. We have to be the instigator of action here, and Double Agent leaves as we try to instigate some action.
Yeah, definitely tried to be, but Double Agent was not having it. Minute and 15 seconds left to play. Ambassador walking around doing Ambassador stuff, but it's a bit of a quiet party so far.
Yeah, you'd think that Ambassador should have like a propensity to walk around and like smooth. We do have
That's
a
a
green
green purloin.
purloin. Yeah, and
That's a
so there's
green purloin. It's very exciting.
and a possible reject. I think that was a leave from Salmon, not a true reject, but it's going to look very similar to Lev here. And here's the take.
There's the take. What's the reaction from LevT? So far, it's killing Smolden, which like is fair but not correct.
Yeah, so that's fun. So I think Smallman like I actually didn't see too much of the prior chain. So um, general takes do there's wheels offer, wheels takes, queen reject, um, Duke. Okay, there's the Smallman. So Smallman is just in that actual chain, and then possibly Salmon before that one. So yeah, if Smallman had enough stuff going on there, they do. Oh yeah, they went statue to statue. Actually, that does. I totally get that shot. The very first thing in the game that happened was a statue to statue Smallman. That's weird, actually. Why did he
Yeah.
do that statue to statue? That
Well,
because I totally get this. Then that looks so much like a Guggie, especially like the pathing. Just not
yeah.
and not just Guggie, but like spy kind of like thing where like maybe you could sneak a second inspect in there. So very reasonable shot to be honest.
Well, we have Guggie in the chat confirming that that was an intentional frame, so things working out very well for Guggie here on Ballroom. And even though this is LevT's pick, Guggie is currently 3-0 on it, 2 of which were spy games, and now Guggie is on the sniper trying to sweep LevT's pick, which would be a huge turnaround. Let's see if they can get it done in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And I'm trying to remember like what are the venues coming up are I think Modern's in there, Veranda is in there. So like coming away from a lead after gallery and ballroom is going to be hard to break because I think it's like Terrace,
Terrace
Modern,
and
Veranda.
Veranda. I think that's
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. We went through Courtyard, so it's gonna be hard to pick up spy wins after this. So this is a huge game for Lev.
28% off the first flirt, so we're going to want to get a green test somewhere along the line. Also in conversation with the double agent, but it's not a very busy conversation. So even though there are a lot of people talking, there's not a lot of people talking here, which can be a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And trying to see what else is happening on this one. So Salmon is going to be getting a bunch, and there's just this is like so conversation heavy this early for interesting little move from Tex, by the way that they put down for Ambassador and kind of like did like the little twitchy kind of thing. They might pick up something on that one. But regardless, there's a little sprinkling of everything except for good bug opportunities. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be easy enough for Guggie to handle.
Well, lefties got their head on a swivel, looking for opportunities. But seduction target went to the statues. Ambassador's been a little bit exposed, and now we've got things starting to happen. So lefty is going to looks like head for the briefcase first, but lose the race. And now it's going to be the flirt again. Oh
Yeah,
dear!
yeah, and that's unfortunate. I was about to say that like one of the spy habits that some people have kind of ingrained is intentionally losing briefcase races to go flirt. And so like oftentimes you can kind of look at if they go to someone and talk to them. Um, just throw an option for a pair out there. We're gonna do a real,
Difficult fingerprint.
yeah, and we're gonna actually
Does
go for
hit
this
it.
one.
That's
That's pretty
big.
good. And we could go to the
Considering
bookcase, of course.
considering the time situation, having that extra mission could really bail us out at the end of the game here. We're under a minute. We have 79% on the flirt, that one fingerprint, and there is our first mission completion, which is the contact. But time is definitely a problem.
And I noticed there that there was a shake for the white contact. Now, white contacts, you never really want them, but they're also sometimes they're not that important. But I think we really didn't want to be seen talking again next to Boots, who we already might be paired with, regardless of the talking during double agent. So we are going to finish up this flirt here. And we are going to get this fingerprint off as well. We did. I wasn't sure if we had
I think this
beaten.
is just going to have to be a book slam. Cross your fingers, click the button, see what happens. It's been a good spy game for LevT. They've done a lot of good stuff coming off of. Oh, this is gonna be. No, they're
Yeah,
going
timeout.
they're going for the
Timeout.
bookcase. I
You
thought
can't
they
get
were
it.
going for the windows
No.
to try to do the timeout at the end, but they went for the bookcase, got caught up on wheels, wasn't able to make it in time, and Guggie sweeps LevT's double.
Yeah, unfortunate for Lev there. So Lev was basically facing the blue bookcase side of the map with two options, like you're saying. Well, I guess three if we wanted to go for a last second time ad. But really, the only thing we could do is either slam the book or go for a bug. And I think we opted for the bug because we could maybe try to do something like stop in a conversation circle and then end with something like going to blue bookcase or just have some more extra, little bit of extra cover with that book in our hand. But Ambassador picks a different direction than what we wanted, and we're just left with nothing and just not enough time to even slam. We even break animation to get out of there. We still aren't going to slam in time.
Yeah, I think the only play there was to keep walking to the window and try to hit that green time ad. I don't even know if you can do that with a book in hand.
You can, yeah.
Okay. So that puts Guggie up 6-4 in a huge turnaround. Veranda next on the plate. Let's see what Guggie's able to do from the spy side. Probably not much, but you never know. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, so now Guggie has this interesting, well, like and honestly, players just kind of approach Veranda with aggression, kind of regardless. Though there have been a lot of sib shots, so I was gonna say usually in a typical high level match where Veranda pops up in the middle or late part of the set, because usually it's not in the doubled part. Um, Veranda often is the space where either you need to make up games or you're just trying to go for a split. And in either case, you might as well just throw something super aggressive at the wall because it's unlikely to just have a random civ shot in Veranda, given that there has to be so much that happens. So you just do a bunch of aggressive action. Guggie actually, both of the players can be in the position where since there's been so many civ shots, maybe there's a little bit of extra credit given to the spies as far as like their threat level. So maybe we won't see just outward aggression.
It's certainly not the fastest start coming out of Guggie. A quick 34% flirt, but then a bit slow onto the next move, and it is all the way around to the blue side. Oh, I love this move. It's a green swap and immediately out to the blue bookcase. This could be a massive pickup.
And what's cool about this is there's going to be not only is there cheating to the left side of the venue, but they're going to continue cheating to the left side of the venue, and they're not going to see this swap for a long time. So not
They
only is
might
the
have
swap
just
going
seen
to
it
be,
there. Not
yeah, they
quite, it
might
looks
have.
like.
Yeah, I don't
Now
think
they
so, not
see it, I'm
quite.
pretty sure.
Yeah, here's the double take. I'm pretty sure right now. So we're having quick couple lowlights, and I think we start by reducing the known people that couldn't have taken the statues, and of course we'll just see if we're one of them. We're pretty cautious of the lowlights so far. This is actually a really good. Oh,
No,
but
there's
no,
the
there.
low light.
I was really enjoying the reluctance to be too aggressive with the lowlights there. I think the first few lowlights were great. And you don't actually need to do this on Veranda. So let's say it's just out of theory because I think it's going to be a little bit slow while we do this last seduction and maybe contact. Is on Veranda, you have so many outs for yourself if you miss something. Even if you have a swap and you do not see it at all, you're playing any four of seven. You can play out an any 4 of 7 Veranda. It's not that bad. So you can just take the low hanging low lights of like, okay, you were never even close to statues. I'm confident you couldn't even snuck something. You don't need to pull it down to a 50-50 and like try to narrow it down super hard on Veranda. So this is unfortunate because the first part was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they just felt that they needed to, because they've been having trouble in the last couple of games, felt like they needed to up the pressure a little bit and just got caught out, unfortunately. A rough turn of events for LevT. Guggie, you can tell, doesn't really know their low lit because this would just be a slam on the other side, but they've got such a commanding position right now that there's no reason to take risks. We've got contact done, swap done, flirt most of the way done, still a minute and 30 to play. Guggie is basically has this game locked up as long as they keep their pacing.
Yeah, but that's gonna be the hard part is actually keeping. Yeah, we're gonna do timeout over here and maybe do. Oh no, we're not gonna do a timeout. We are just gonna go for this fingerprintable briefcase. I think we're gonna drop here and not return. No, no. Okay, we're actually sinking quite a bit of time into this kind of thing. So like unless there's a fingerprintable statue I'm unaware of, I'm very curious about what we try to do from here because the worst thing to do would be to set ourselves up where we need a timeout late in the game and Boots and General aren't anywhere nearby. By the way, Boots is finishing in specs now, though, so we're going to be staring down Boots pretty hard here. LevT does seem to have a count on what Boots' potentials are, so we don't get shot here. But we do need to pick this up. We're going to go for inspects. There better be a fingerprint on this, because I think we're actually in a lot of trouble if there's not.
No print, it looks like. So this is time starting to become a pretty serious factor. I don't think Guggie is going to let this time out, but 15 seconds. It's gonna be tight.
It's going to be
There's the
tight.
book slam.
We have to time it. I don't think we actually have
I
enough
think it
time
has to be a
to.
time ad. Yeah, 5 seconds.
Oh no, it's a purloin. It's a purloin. Okay, I actually don't mind this. As oh, we're gonna
No,
time
it's
it
a time
beforehand.
ad. It's a time ad first. It's
Oh,
two of them.
he said it in the one. He's
He
accidentally
did too. I think he
as a
was
white.
trying to purloin on the second one and
No,
accidentally time at it
no,
again. It's a
no,
white
no.
purloin,
Oh
and
my God.
FT figures it out at the last second of asking.
Oh my God. Okay, so all right, so oh Jesus Christ. So what's fun about the green purloin is that it does potentially make it possible that it was a true pending purloin finish, right? It'll look
Yeah.
kind of similar except for the take. Now, obviously he's low lit, so he doesn't. I don't think he's notices the double take, but Lev is, I think, just completely taken aback because Lev is actually tracking pretty well that Boots and General aren't involved in this purloin. And so, actually, I really like this reaction because I think that you kind of divide this scenario into, well, if there was a green time head into purloin that sounds like it's a pending, maybe I just shoot somebody out there without a drink or something like that. But I actually really like the choice to shoot the taker. I think just percentage wise, the situations in which the person's the taker versus shooting a random person without a drink that might have done the reject beforehand because you weren't paying attention because you're locked in on two characters is higher. So really like the decision there. I don't think Lev saw either the time ad stuff at the end, but really just unfortunate pacing right at the end there because we did those inspects. There was not a chance we were going to go inspect with that amount of time left without a fingerprint being on one of them. So too bad. Love the beginning and then just not quite enough pace at the end.
Yeah, but you called that exact scenario as one of the possible turnaround points for a game like that. Just runs out of time, has to go for the time ad and something crazy late in the game. He can see that it was neither of the highlighted people who did this, and he just has to like panic and reorient on something. And the thing he managed to reorient on was the spy.
Yeah. And so, of course, at the end of the day, it is a sniper win on Veranda. So it's like not exciting too much. Like Guggie was probably expecting to for that to be the case anyway. So it's more just that Guggie still has to snipe this one out. They really should be able to, but now honestly, Lev might have a little bit of the wind at their back because they're able to pick up that last second win after not quite identifying the situation. So Lev does have this, and now it is stressful to snipe for the win on Veranda, even though it's. Oh, actually, is this the last venue? Am I talking out of turn? Is
I
this?
I don't think this is the last venue. I think we've got one more.
I think you're right.
Courtyard Veranda. Maybe this is
Modern.
the last
We have
venue.
Modern. There's a delay on Modern.
Modern,
Modern's gonna
right?
be later. There we go. So okay. So it's not quite as stressful. Actually, I think that then Guggy really does need to just wrap this one up. Sometimes sniping for the win on Veranda can be stressful, where I think that snipers do a little bit worse than their baseline because they're under a lot of pressure, and if they just relax, they can just win the Veranda's game. So very exciting. Too bad to Guggy. Great play, but yeah, really fun though at least.
Absolutely. Also Terrace.
Oh, and
So
Terrace. Well, blah. Terrace.
we've got a little bit more to go yet. We're used to the shorter games, but let's hop into the last round of Veranda. It's LevT on the spy side versus Guggie's sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
All right, so probably just this early flirt and then bail out immediately. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the play. Don't chance anything up. Why are we shaking? Are we just still mad about the? No, we're happy about the last game, so we can't be mad. I think that just spin for fun because we don't really know what we want to do yet.
Unsure if angry shake or celebratory spin.
It's true. Yeah, because we didn't actually have time for anything at the end of that last game because we had a shot at the very, very last moment there. Yeah. So we are just doing a lot of spinning right now. Because, like, I guess it's just like where I'm on Veranda. Don't really know what I can do here. I'm just kind of doing the boring stuff at first. We're going to walk
Well,
away with
it's
this
not a blue
book.
book, so that could be something.
It's honestly, I feel like spies should do it more of like just random takes from blue that you don't return to blue. Spies are just really reluctant to do that on Veranda, just overall. But honestly, I think that snipers like cheating off of blue returns for just doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'd be a bad play at all to take the book off, like you're saying.
Second flirt turns up white, so it's 59% off the top. Blue book in hand, still tons of time to work with.
Yeah, tons of time. Ambassador moving around. Toby and Ambassador on opposite sides of the map. There is going to be a fingerprint at red coming up in a second here. But also just not that many statue visitors. We have one in Disney. I completely missed what these highlights on the far left conversation were for. If it's just bug credit because Ambassador was in that before. But there's not too much again going on right here for the party at least.
Yep, and LevT very much just taking their time in conversation for the timer flirt, but not quite close enough to get it done in 3. It's 98% off of the green test.
Yeah, I think we are laundering this book. One of the interesting things about having that I kind of like about this position, I don't know if Lev intended for this, but if you stand at this position on Veranda, you won't get offered. We are showing we're not really trying to hide the book as much, but like you won't get offered for book. And sometimes if you just see that someone's not getting offered, you just keep getting reminded they don't have book. But if you stand with your back against that last wall, you're not getting offered because of conversation position and not because of book hold. So we kind of maybe were laundering the book a little bit there, but I'm gonna say that we're not really caring about it because we went straight into the conversation circle and not anything like trying to do a Far Side book.
Well, there's the contact in a pretty full conversation, so gives away Smallman, but other than that, a really strong contact coming out of LevT.
Yeah, and the more time we spend over here, so what we'd really like is for Toby or Ambassador to go to the other side and then do this, but we're just going to do this in full broad daylight. So it doesn't look like we are getting tagged for it. I mean, we're completely on screen, so it's a Yomi kind of a choice here. Um, but I was expecting us to wait for something to happen on the far side, but we're super cheating on the left side here.
Oh, that's a bug on the way around the back. I really like that. That was such a nice little move.
Lev doesn't, though. I don't think Lev likes that bug. I don't think he recognized where the laser position was. I think you're right that the bug actually was off screen and good, but to Lev, we took a really wide angle. And if there wasn't the pillar on the window there, I think we might feel like we took a bad bug. I can't quite tell from the shakes. It's always hard to tell if they're happy shakes. We're going to do a purloin immediately into this, and it's going to be a white purloin. Lev is not happy with themselves right
That's
now
the
at
last
all.
mission. It's the
I
white
don't
purloin. White purloins are usually real bad, but I don't think Guggie is on it in time, and Lev T is able to make it happen to tie things back up at 6.
Yeah, and I could be completely misreading Lev's motions on there. I don't think Lev liked that bug or that purloin and thought they're about to get shot, but Guggy just happened to not be guarding it at the right time and is able to sneak away with it.
Terrace up next. You got Guggie on the spy side versus Lev T's sniper, and this is another opportunity for things to go a little bit wild. I mean, apparently Terrace was too. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, so Lev honestly probably feeling like they got away with a lot on Veranda there, where very nearly lost the sniper game. Felt like maybe they were exposed on the spy game. So not sure if that makes them feel good or bad. Like he feels like it actually shouldn't be 6-6 at this point. But Veranda actually ended up working out really well for them. I think that was their pick. So that does end up working out for them. Go for a bug, but
I
no
like the attempt.
something. Yeah, agreed. And because like honestly, from the positioning of the other conversation circle, if Ambassador walks away that way, it's not going to be guarded, and if Ambassador walks by us, it's only a path that's
Yeah.
possible there. So yeah, good.
51% off the first flirt as well, as our section target drops right in next to us. So that's a nice little pickup. We'll see what we're able to do with it moving forward.
Yeah, and I would love to see how players like really try to figure out. I mean, Terrace has been around for a long time, so I shouldn't say figure out Terrace, but find new things to do on Terrace because this is what I see sometimes for players is they just kind of play slow, wait for opportunities from Terrace, and Terrace is just stingy to me with
This is a
opportunities.
print pickup, though.
It is true. So that is one thing is that if you get a print off of statues or purloin or drink, um, there's lots of briefcase purloins because Ambassador's constantly on the move and it's a big enough map that oftentimes the briefcase is far enough away for it. And we actually are going to go for the double fingerprint here and have it completely done. So we have the opportunity just to finish out with close flirt and contact, which I Oh, actually, no. We're not going to go for close for. We're going to intentionally stand next to Ambassador and away from everybody else.
That's an intentional red flirt, I'm pretty sure.
I am pretty sure you are correct because I like the repositioning on that. So what's interesting about a intentional red flirt there is that we are so I'm certainly hoping for a close flirt later. It wasn't the worst flirt. So I am a little surprised that the flirt was if the red flirt was intentional that it happened because that actually wouldn't have been that bad to pick up. We do, by the way, send the Perlin, but it expires right as a rocker arrives. I don't know if that was also intentional or not. If we just wanted another person to be at bar and we actually didn't want the Perlin to happen, but it ends up not cooking at least.
30 seconds left to play, so things have almost fallen away from us here. Things are starting to become a little bit scary. Like this is not the kind of contact you want to take, and that is why the shot comes off. There just were not enough real contactors.
Yeah, not enough real contactors. Guggie was having amazing green test rates earlier in the set, and did start with a green test, but then we have what appears to be a unintentional red test into a white test near the end. We do get the two fingerprints now. They're mad tests, and then we had a white test for the banana bread on top of the fact that, like you're saying, very few people with real at the end there.
So that puts LevT out in front 7-6 as we step into the next game of Terrace. LevT on the spy, Guggie on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and like you're saying, all of a sudden we're in a situation where it's back to being really nice plays and spots for Lev to play from, because it was looking real dire for them coming out of Ballroom and into Veranda, and then again got away with the skin of their teeth on Veranda as well. So picking up that first win is gonna be really nice for them settling in.
This has been a crazy set, both in terms of the score swings and in terms of the individual games. But LevT now finds himself in a lead with 24% off the early flirt.
Yeah, and right now we're just kind of hanging around again. Kind of classic Terrace game. Nothing's happening at bar, so just flirts are happening. Ambassador is at statue, so there's nothing happening for pickups in there. So all the sniper has to look at is flirt pairing. We are kind of far away from our flirt, so there's not gonna be a threat there. Contact's gonna come off, full conversation circle. Oh, actually no, Orange Dress was still in the return, so Orange Dress is let off as a low light. But other than that, you know, good contact. We might contact again later to spice everybody up.
And as soon as literally anybody goes to the bar, LevT is there to join them.
Yep, we joined them. We need to also make sure we don't join Red Dress later, because we could pick up a pair there. We are going to be taking a direct purloin. I don't know who this would have been on. Did anybody take it at the beginning?
I didn't see anything at the beginning.
Well, interesting. So we are going to be casting a little bit of doubt out here. I don't actually even know if Guggie has seen this yet, to be totally honest, because again, if we took a strange direct purloin, there's a chance that it hasn't been seen. Toby's still a pilot.
If we can hit this green, that's a good spot to be in. Minute and 15 seconds to play.
Yeah, and
there it is. No reaction from Guggie.
Yeah, the purloin's identified, I think, right there. I think we're looking for considering a shot right now. Oh no, we're actually not. We're considering low light. And so there was a moment there I was really worried, because it looks like the purloin might have been identified at like the 6 or 7 second mark in the countdown, and it looks like there's a flick over, but it's a flick over for a low light, and Lev is able to continue their winning streak.
That's a huge. This has been such a huge turnaround for Lev. Guggie went from being down to being in a commanding position to now LevT is the one in the commanding position, and it might all be falling apart. This has been so crazy as we head into the final venue of the evening. LevT has 2 match points. Guggie has to win both of these to force the draw. Let's see what they can do, starting from the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and so I mean, Modern actually will have a bunch of options, at least just being bold enough to actually go after them. We are going to join in on this huge bar. We might only be going for this. Yeah, I'm curious if we actually finish this out, because it's going to take a long time for Toby to get to us, although our seduction target does bail out. We might follow our seduction target. Oh, actually, a bunch of people have just bailed out. Yeah, which is sometimes good, because, okay, we're not going to go for the reject. Papa Danger looked close to a drink offer reject walk away, but not quite, so he might be implicated slightly in this bar, which continues to be, by the way, this is actually the perfect bar to me, is like 2 or 3 people there, all the time rather than like a huge rush all at once. This is
Yeah.
the kind of busy bar I love.
So green book in hand as we pulled that out. 70% on the flirt now as we've just picked up the cell. Oh, it's shenanigans! It's shenanigans as he's trying to pretend he's in conversation while he takes this microfilm and it looks like it came off clean.
Indeed, and we go into conversation near the end to cut off a little bit of the end point of the animation of the return, so that we can get out of the book holding animation as quickly as possible. We are totally comfortable with being seen going back in here, and also we have the option of trying to go for a fingerprint later if we want to do blue book for the second part of this. But again, it is it's a little
That's
dicey too.
basically a walking flirt to finish that up.
We get a highlight though. Is that what we get it for? Is the walking through flirt, or is it something about microfilm?
I think if he got caught on the walking flirt, he might have just died.
That's true. So we are gonna. So the unfortunate part is the one of the points of the microfilm behind conversation circle is for you not to even be an option for action test transfer. So you would not be expecting a highlight at this point. Are we gonna just do it twice in a row? Okay, no, we're not gonna go for the same spot. So we might still stand behind conversation a little bit later. No, we're gonna go front. We're not so far. Oh, we actually missed pad, but you can't
It's
really
fine.
tell.
It looks good.
Yeah, but I wonder. Okay, so we're not trying to do a transfer out at the windows kind of far away, and actually, it looks like Lev would have been covering that regardless. We are just gonna do this out in the open. I think,
Gets
yeah,
shot in the foot. I like the idea. I like how bold it was. Did not wind up turning out like he would have liked. I think he might have glanced at it to try to guard a possible reverse drive-by bug and went, oh, that person is doing a hard tell currently.
yeah, and I'm still curious about what this highlight was for. It might have been for the talk and walk away because we seem to be rotating around to do a highlight on it. So if that didn't happen, if there wasn't that highlight, I think that was well sequenced, well put together, and was going to slide together quite nicely. The positioning of that microfilm, but we were being watched for something by that point, and it might have been for that cheat on the flirt.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good shout. That very well may have been it, but that is going to do it for us tonight. LevT gets it done 9-6 over Guggie and puts themselves in a pretty dang strong position as far as the leaderboard is concerned. That puts them, I believe, at 3-1-0.
Yeah, so let's see. So they should have 3 wins, 1 tie. I don't know who the tie was versus, but Lev is in a great position. They still do need to face Martini at some point, who's currently in the lead. They have yet. Oh, wait, actually, that might not
Not
be
in the
true.
lead anymore. It's Lev now, baby.
That's true. That's true. And actually, Martini does have one loss, and that might have been versus Lev. I don't know who that loss is. It is. Okay. So Lev has the option of just winning out versus everybody but Martini to um, win out the like standings. I guess there still would be finals versus the other player, so you can't avoid Martini for that.
Keep
If
in mind,
Martini wins
though,
out as well.
keep in mind, Guggie with one less game played than a lot of these people and still on spot 4 on the leaderboard. So they are still very much a genuine threat.
Yeah, and Astantine is still in this. Beanie is still kind of on the cusp of being on it. I mean, I guess all the players haven't played a lot of matches yet, but uh, yeah, a very exciting Masters division. We'll see how it finishes out, but LevT looking strong. And honestly, Guggie looked good until Veranda.
Yeah.
Guggie was looking really good until Veranda when it just kind of started falling apart. So good on like really honestly great set from both, and then LevT capitalizing on a moment there near the end.
But that is going to do it for us tonight. Thanks a ton for everybody who came out to watch. If somehow you are new here, this game is called SpyParty. You can get it for $25 on Steam or at spyparty.com. which also gets you a Steam key, but gives the more money to the creator of the game. If you have been playing this game for a while and are interested in getting into competitive play, go to discord.gg/SpyParty. There's always a ton of stuff happening and a ton of people who are more than happy to point you into the right direction. If you want to get into competitive play or just chat with other like-minded individuals. I've been Toboshi. I've been joined by Nebula as our host and observer, and Slappy Davis as my co-caster.
Lovely to be here. Such great games.
Thanks a ton for everybody who came out to watch, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.